This show officially opens tomorrow to the public. This has been a black tie affair tonight for charity, and over 12,000 people showed up. There are parties, and some of that you hear in the background is music and bands. Our guest is Robert Eaton, Chairman and CEO of Chrysler. We've gathered some remote cameras around the country, east and west. And first we'll go out to Santa Clarita, California, with a question for Robert Eaton. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, Larry. Why do they have so much haggling over the price, and why do they pay the good guy, bad guy routine between the sales manager and the salesperson? And, you know, why don't they treat us with much more courtesy when we come in to buy, say, a $30,000 truck?
The lady in front of the Dodge dealer.
Well, I can tell you, we've been trying a lot of experiments where we're trying to get more of that haggling out and trying to improve the buying experience, because we do a lot of surveys. We understand that customers, about 30% of the customers like that. About 30%.
They like bargaining.
Yeah, don't. The others are kind of in between. There's a lot of experiments going on around the country to try to get that out of there. We don't, unfortunately, have any direct control of that because dealers are independent businessmen, but we are trying to move them in that direction.
Would we ever have a stage where whatever on the sticker, that's it, forget it?
Well, you know, obviously there's some vehicles that are pretty close to that now. Saturn is relatively close to that.
Would you like that?
I would like that.
Let's go now East Coast, Arlington, Virginia, prospective car buyer. The gentleman, go ahead.
How you doing, Larry, Mr. Eaton? My question to you is, how is Chrysler incorporating international safety standards in their current designs and their future designs as well?
Okay, well, you know,
good question.
It is. Safety standards in the United States are actually beyond those anywhere else in the world. More severe. We put more money, more design, more effort in vehicles here than anywhere. As a matter of fact, as you probably know, airbags are not just now coming on in Europe, just now coming on in Japan, etc. So we lead the world in safety standards, and we also lead the world in traffic fatalities, having them lower here than anywhere else.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, you had to be pushed to that by the government, frankly?
Well, yes and no. I mean, for example, the airbags came before the laws. The laws are just now getting here, but the customer wanted them, and we brought them along. The same thing is true with analog brakes. We still obviously don't have laws there, but I think that's a very significant safety aspect, and we're making them standard on more and more vehicles, including this new minivan right behind us.
Gentleman in the audience, right there. Move the mic up close to you, sir.
Mr. Eaton, automobile sales has always been very cyclical, and obviously the domestics are enjoying being at the top of the cycle right now. What are you doing to prepare for when things start to go the other way, and what do you look for? How will you know when that begins to happen?
Okay, we don't think we'll hit the top of the cycle until 1997, and quite frankly, before sales get down to the actual trend level, we believe it'll be late 98 or 99. Now, but to make sure that we're ready when it happens, even if it happens next month, we set about with a very conservative financial goals here recently, saying that we wanted to have $7.5 billion in the bank so that if a recession came about, we could continue our product programs, we wouldn't go into debt, and we obviously wouldn't get into the condition that Chrysler's gotten before. And we achieved that. So we're ready for a recession financially. We're not ready psychologically. We don't want one for about 4 or 5 years.
Do you want one?
Well, actually...
Is that baloney?
No, we don't want one, but we know we're going to get one. Unfortunately, I think the cycles are getting longer. I really do. I believe what the Fed has done has been basically good, as I said earlier, and I think the cycles are getting longer, and that's quite frankly why I think we got a few years yet.
We'll take a call now from Cheyenne, Wyoming, for Robert Eaton, of Chrysler. Hello.
Yes, I would like to know, on your extended cabs, or you call them club cab, made in Old Mexico, how come the sticker price was higher than the American-made Ford?
Well, I guess you'd have to say it was probably a little better truck. Now, that truck's very, very popular. There are no incentives on it, and it's also a little bigger, and it's got a few more features, and I think, as you know, it's probably the shortest day supply vehicle in the entire truck market out there, so I'm relatively confident it's not priced too high.
Give me a forecast for 95.
I think we'll be 16 million plus or minus a bit. This year we were about 15.3, 15.4. So we're looking at another 5, 6, 7% increase.
Hot car of the year for Chrysler.
Oh, hot car of the year, without a doubt, is going to be the Cirrus, Chrysler Cirrus and Stratus.
Any
Neon will
car in
continue
trouble?
strong. No, not at all.
No model that you're saying, boy, this is it.
No. Quite frankly, I got to tell you, we've been short of capacity on almost every single vehicle we've had all year long.
So in other words, you build to sell.
Well,
We don't want to come on in, the lot's full.
well, you can obviously go in and buy. In fact, that's the way the American public likes to
I
buy.
mean, your idea is to produce and sell, though, right?
Exactly. But when we can't fill the orders from either the dealers or the customers fast enough, you know, obviously we don't have the capacity.
Thanks, Bob.
Great position to be in.
Robert Trout, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Eaton is chairman of the board, chief executive officer of Chrysler. I mixed up names because the next guest is Alex Trotman, the chairman of the board and CEO of Ford. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Oil everything. The difference is that at Chrysler Corporation, we're doing something about it. Through Customer One, our renewed commitment to customer satisfaction. Because while nobody's perfect, it sure doesn't hurt to try. Customer One. See the difference it's making at your Chrysler Corporation dealer now.
There you see some of the spectacular Ford cars. Ford, of course, has the #1 selling car in the United States, the Taurus. And we welcome now the chairman and chief executive officer of this very aggressive company, Alex Trotman. Right off the bat, since I know you released the statement on it, why didn't you want to appear with the other two?
I think it's inappropriate at an auto show to appear in a group. I feel that Ford is a single company. I'd like it to be seen as a single, very competitive company. Much though I respect Jack and Bob and their companies, I'm going to take a sale. For every sale I can get from them, I want to take it. And I don't want any impression that otherwise. I'm going to compete with them.
In other
for all
words,
I'm
you
worth.
don't like this big three.
No,
talk.
I don't. No, I don't like it at all.
Just as I guess Coke and Pepsi wouldn't like to be called the big two.
No, I don't suppose they would. You try getting Goizueta and his competitor sitting with you, I think you'll fail.
Where are you from, Alex?
Edinburgh in Scotland is where I was raised, and I came over to the United States to stay in 1969.
Came into the Ford business then?
No, I came into the Ford business in 1955. This is my 40th year with Ford.
How'd you start?
I started as, we used to call them purchase chasers, then a follow-up guy. I was a trainee for a while, then I was a follow-up guy chasing parts in a stamping plant, which is, was a really tough boot camp. And,
So you came right up through the
yep,
through the works.
did all the jobs in most places. So I worked in Australia, in Europe about 3 different times, and in the United States several times. My kids have been through 5 school systems, and my wife's moved the furniture 5 times across the ocean. So
How do you like living here?
it's great. It's a bit cold.
When you start at the bottom like that, I mean 40 years ago, and you rise, do you still feel it when you walk in? I mean, you're the chairman and CEO. I imagine they
Yeah.
open the doors,
No, they
right
don't.
up a private elevator. I
Yeah.
mean, or do you still feel part of the?
Very-
you remember?
Very much part of the group. I wish you could have been with me walking around the show today. The number of Ford people who stopped me. I mean, I can't walk around here, really. I can't see the cars for people saying, "Hi, Alex, how you doing?" And I feel very much part of the whole team at Ford. It's a big team, but very much part of it. I love being in the plants. I love talking to the people.
What if there is a secret to this car we're looking at now? What is it? What makes the Taurus go like it does?
I think it's value. It hit the spot. It came out in the late 80s, and it made a dramatic statement, really, in terms of its appearance, its value, and its package. And it really saved Ford Motor Company, perhaps, from going belly up.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was a tremendously important car for us in the late 80s. It seemed to hit the button for the American public right in the middle of the market, became the best-selling car. It's been the best-selling car in the States for the last 3 years, including 1994.
How about out of the States?
Out of the States, it's small change so far, but we're going to change that with the new car, with this new one here. Has right-hand drive, so we'll be selling it in Japan in right-hand drive. We'll be selling it in Australia and probably in Europe in right-hand drive as well. So we'll increase the exports from the United States of the Taurus and the Sable.
Are you as surprised as others are by the turnaround?
Well,
I know you're part of it, but are you surprised by it?
not really surprised by it, no, because it's not something that happens in 5 minutes. I mean, it's a result of maybe 10 years of hard work and a lot of dedicated little steps, thousands of little steps. So most of us, I think, in the other companies, well, speaking for ours, and I suspect for them, that we could see the turnaround coming over the last 3 or 4 years. We could see the improvement in quality, productivity, improvement in our new product. So no, frankly, I'm not surprised.
Did you agree with Bob Eaton, what he said that earlier today and on this show, that you can't sit on laurels? The
Absolutely.
Japanese are very rough.
Couldn't agree with him more. Absolutely right. I mean, all this nonsense about the Japanese being beaten down and running for it and everything, it's just rubbish. I mean, they're holding their share of market. They're sustaining themselves despite the very strong yen. They're formidable, very worthy competitors, admirable competitors.
We're looking at another amazing Ford product. Explain the success of this, the Explorer.
Well, that's tough. That seems to have hit the spot as well. I drive one. I've driven one a lot. I don't know
That's
if
the car you drive?
I drive several, but
My daughter drives one.
Well, yeah, mine does too.
Why do young girls like it?
I don't know. They feel good in it. It's a kind of a sporty car with a high seating position. It's rugged. It feels safe. There's something about it that seems to hit the spot with young women. My daughter had a couple of them and just loves them. Women seem to love them.
Why do you drive it?
Vehicle. Well, I drive it because I enjoy it. It's a great vehicle in the winter. In this part of the world, it's just tremendous feeling of security to drive that into the office. We had a couple of inches of snow a couple of days ago, and then it froze. I come in from Ann Arbor, about 45 miles away to work, and I drove the Explorer down the fast lane while just about everybody else was sitting in the middle in the slow lane.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
The chairman and CEO of Ford, on an icy road,
Right
is
down that
driving
fast
the
lane.
Explorer in the left lane.
In the left lane, on the ice, no problem. Yeah.
And no driver, you drive yourself.
I drive myself, yeah.
Scotch.
I'm Scottish, yeah.
Suddenly that's coming through to me.
Scotch is the other stuff. That's the stuff you drink.
I know, but you
Yeah,
are...
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But obviously, you hold true to form.
I hope
Ford
so.
is a tightly run company,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Do you agree with Mr. Eaton as well about Mr. Clinton?
I didn't hear what Bob said about Mr.
He likes it and thinks he's been very good for the car industry.
Well, I have to share. It's terrible to agree with Bob on two separate occasions. in
Allow
5 minutes.
yourself,
Well,
Alex.
I'll allow myself. I like him too. We've been back and forward. He's been open door. We've been open door. We've had a good exchange of views. I think he's a very good listener and very willing to work hard to learn about our industry. I think he appreciates the importance of the auto industry in the United States. He seems to appreciate it's the motor of the economy here, and that we account for about one out of every 7 jobs, one way or another, in the United States. He seems to appreciate that. I like people who understand our industry, and he does.
And this industry, it still is America's favorite, right? We love our cars.
Yeah, it's the motor. Yeah,
It's
a great industry.
Yeah, it's the driving
Yeah.
pull.
yeah. It's a wealth creator. It's a job creator. It pays a lot of taxes. It's an important part of the fabric of America. At the same time, it's a hell of a lot of fun.
We'll be back and take questions from our folks out in California and Virginia, from our audience here, for the chairman and CEO of Ford, Alex Trotman, and then we'll meet the head honcho at General Motors. We're at the International Auto Show in Detroit. It opens tomorrow. And as we break, we're going to show you the Ford computer, this robot, Sarcos. Let's go now to Sarcos.
This is Sarcos, the robot from the Ford exhibit. May the Ford be with you.
May the Ford be with you, yes.
And don't forget to listen to Larry King live every day on CNN.
Good job, Sarcos. You got the voice down. It happens with that modular voice package, ladies and gentlemen.
Introducing Ford Contour. Gold, a world car for the 21st century. Result, world-class technology in 2 all-new engines, including a 24-valve V6 that runs 100,000 miles between recommended tune-ups. Outstanding safety features, from dual airbags to a steel safety shell, even a filtration system that removes virtually all dust and pollen from the air. The totally new Ford Contour, well-equipped for just $14,655.
Super International Auto Show opens tomorrow. We're in Detroit. It's a snowy night in Detroit, but Alex is driving. Alex Trotman, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Ford, is with us. Let's go back to our group of potential car buyers. We'll go now to Santa Clarita, California again, and the gentleman, go ahead.
Hi, Larry. I have a question for you. Why are cars becoming increasingly more expensive, but yet the qualities do not necessarily reflect those increases?
Why does the price keep going up?
Well, the price keeps going up in large part because the feature goes up, and it's what the features are what the customer wants. The quality is going up of our products in Ford very, very substantially over the last 5 to 10 years. Incidentally, we've priced for the last 10 years at less than inflation in the United States. So while our prices have been going up, we've been offsetting a lot of the cost increases through productivity and giving our customers very good value for money.
So in other words, you're not looking to jump in on improved economy and say we're going to glom more.
We're going to be as competitive as we possibly can with our prices and increase them as little as we can.
Now let's go to the East Coast and Arlington, Virginia. And the lady, go ahead.
Good evening. I was wondering why your company isn't doing more to create environmentally friendly cars.
We are doing a great deal to create environmentally friendly cars. We're very focused on recycling. Our latest cars are about 75% recyclable. All of the parts can be reclaimed at the end of the life of the vehicle. We're very focused on clean air. We've taken almost all of the pollutants out of the tailpipe. We are very environmentally driven.
You recycle the parts?
No, I mean that we can reclaim, or a reclaimer can reclaim about 75% of the parts in our latest cars, and we're headed for much higher percentage than that. Reclaim, recycle the plastic pieces and the metal parts.
You have a goal, right, at the year 2000 to be what?
To be much more efficient than we are today, much more profitable, and much more higher level of quality, higher level of competitiveness than we are today. That's essentially the goal.
The lady here.
Good evening, gentlemen. Mr. Trotman, I have a question for you, and I think it's quite apropos at this time, because earlier Larry had mentioned the Japanese industry, and as a U.S. car buyer all my life, I'd like to know what is the automotive industry doing to compete against the Japanese?
Well, fundamentally what we're doing is raising our quality and our productivity and our value. And the value gap between the United States built cars and the Japanese cars in the United States has really opened up over the last 10 years. The American manufacturers have been pricing on average about 1 percentage point below inflation every year for 10 years. The Japanese have priced about 1 point over inflation for the last 10 years. The lowest priced Ford 10 years ago was priced a lot higher than the lowest priced Toyota, for example. Now the position is completely flipped. So the lowest priced Ford is way below the equivalent Toyota. So we really have made big advances on the Japanese competition.
Is NAFTA working for you too?
Yeah, we exported a large number of vehicles from United States and Canada to Mexico in 1994 that we wouldn't have exported if we didn't have NAFTA.
Let's take a call for Alex Trotman, Baltimore, Maryland. Hello.
Hello. Yes, clearly new technology can be a key weapon in the auto industry's struggle against aggressive foreign competition. In light of this, what is your industry doing to improve training at the worker level, particularly in regard to applying the new technology for the management of training programs and initiatives?
Good question.
Enormous amount of our expenditures in training and recruiting. We're recruiting very good people every year from the very best universities. We spend an enormous amount of our funds internally on training of all types and at all levels, right from the factory floor right up through our senior managers.
What kind of, like a college graduate, what are you looking for?
We're the very best. We're technical graduates, engineers of all types of engineers, MBAs and engineers as well. But,
marketers and...
Marketers, people from the best universities in all of the countries, not only in America, but throughout the world. The best universities in Britain, Germany, or Japan, wherever.
The competitiveness of this business, which you talked about earlier, is that something that's a drive to you? Is it a drive to you not just to sell the Taurus, but to lick the Chevy?
No. To lick the Chevy isn't what drives me, and it isn't what's driving our corporation. It's to serve our customer better than anybody else. If we happen to lick the Chevy in the process, great. But that isn't what drives us. The customer drives what we do. It's to satisfy our customer better than any other manufacturer. Chevy's one of them. If we beat Chevy, great.
Are we eliminating the lemon?
We haven't eliminated the lemon yet. We can't claim to be zero defect. Unfortunately, our volumes are very, very high. Our quality is a lot better than it ever has been, but we still make mistakes. And I think we're quite away from zero defect.
Oh, so they make good a lot faster now. Wouldn't you say the companies are in closer touch with their customers?
I think much more responsive to customers. I think most companies, when a customer has a problem, it gets fixed or taken care of very quickly.
And your forecast for 95?
Great. A great year for 95, better than 94. Up to maybe 16 million vehicles, new cars and trucks in 95, compared to 15.4 in 1994.
I understand we have one more question in the audience, right here.
Yes, Mr. Trotman. I was wondering about the customer satisfaction effort called the Owner Dialogue Program, the largest customer satisfaction effort in the history of the automotive industry. And
we're running short on time,
okay.
So how does that work?
Yeah, it was like they started with the 1985 customers and worked toward the 1991, and they allotted a great deal of funds to the early customers.
Okay. Okay. Don't need a speech, Alex.
Right. We spend a great deal of our time and focus on customer satisfaction, and we have a huge customer service center with a single 800 number in the United States. I think we're doing a very good job in satisfying our customers.
Great meeting you, Alex. Hang in there. Have a safe drive home.
Thank you.
Alex Trotman. When we come back, Jack Smith, the chairman of the board and CEO of General Motors. Don't go away.
Ford Contour. Go. A world car for the 21st century. Example, elevating safety. Begin with a steel safety shell. Add standard dual airbags and seats specially designed to hold you securely in place. Then offer anti-lock braking and all-speed traction control. An exclusive in this class. The totally new Ford Contour. Well equipped for just $14,655.
On Election Day, America's Santa Claus.
Welcome back. Our next guest is Jack Smith, President and Chief Executive Officer of General Motors. And Jack was kind enough to bring along a gift. Look at these great braces with, thank you, cars on them.
Yeah, those are real Detroit cars.
Is General Motors in the brace business?
No, we're in the car business.
Okay, we've had nothing, and thank you very much for this. I shall wear them proudly.
Great.
It's a great industry and a great car show, and congratulations.
Yes, it is. It's at the level of the other international shows in the world today.
Are you as excited about this buoyancy as the other two?
Oh, absolutely. I mean...
What's going on? What happened?
Well, the domestic auto industry is back, and, you know, we were kind of written off for a long time. But as Alex said, over a period of time, we've matched the Japanese in quality. We've got our costs in line, and we've been lucky, on the other hand, that the yen has risen in value and the Japanese have become, frankly, non-competitive in parts of the market.
Do you agree with the others, though, who say don't take them lightly?
Absolutely. You know, Toyota's saying that they can handle an 85 yen to the dollar, and, well, it's only 100 yen to the dollar right at the moment, so.
Well, congratulations on Truck of the Year. We showed it last night. It's a honey of a truck.
Yeah, we're really proud about that and pleased about it. Our only problem is we're having trouble making enough of them.
What do you mean?
Well, we're out of capacity. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a third shift to plant making Blazes in Moraine, Ohio.
How long does it take to make a car?
The time to build?
Yeah.
It varies anywhere from 20 to 35 hours.
A car, 20 to 30?
Yeah.
You got to turn out assembly lines pretty good when a car gets hot.
Oh, yeah. But we have new techniques now where we can run 24 hours a day. We haven't been able to do that in the past, but we can do it today.
Here's one of the more talked about cars at this show, the Grand Am. What can you tell us about this one?
Well, let me make sure I got the right car. You're shooting this car over here?
Yeah, you make so many, it's hard to keep up, I know.
It's not the Grand Am.
Oh, it's not the Grand Am.
It's our new coupe.
The Sunfire.
Sunfire. Thank you. And they
told me the Grand Am.
I know. Well, they misled you. but that is a sharp-looking coupe.
Ooh.
It's very youthful in styling, and most importantly, it has a very low price attached to it.
How long in the car industry for you?
About 35 years.
All with GM?
All with GM.
Started as what?
Started in the financial area at General Motors and the assembly plant in Framingham, Massachusetts.
So another one, rising through the ranks.
Absolutely, all the way.
Is it harder being the biggest? Does that put a bigger pressure on you than you think your fellows who have preceded you, that you're the largest company in the world?
Well, I don't know. I think a lot is expected of us, and
that's what I mean.
And to be the biggest, you need to work the hardest. So, I mean, it goes with our size, and that's what we're trying to do.
When did it come along? Was there a period of time when you said, I want to run this show?
No, I was never looking to run this show.
Never?
I was looking to do the job I was in all the way along the line. And many of the jobs I liked, and I wasn't very happy to leave and to move.
What job was really hard to leave?
Well, when I was controller at General Motors, I loved the job and thought I was making a great contribution. And they asked me to move to the head of product planning. Oh, boy, I didn't really want to do that. But they kind of suggested I had better do it. But it was the greatest move I ever had because I was exposed to the product side of the business. I had an opportunity to work with Toyota in developing the NUMMI joint venture in California, and it was a great opening experience for me.
Some questions we've asked the others. How's NAFTA and GM?
Well, NAFTA's going to be strong. Now, obviously, there's been a setback here over the last month with the devaluation of the peso, and that will slow the exports of U.S. Product into Mexico for a period of time. But I think as you take the long-term view of things, it's going to be very helpful to all of North America.
And the other two report quite a bit of happiness about the president. They think he's a pro-car president and been good for the business. Do you share that view?
Oh, I sure do. You know, there was a time, there was an auto show in Washington, and he attended that show, and it was really started to make the turn of the acceptance of the domestics as being back on top. And I give a lot of credit to the president for being there and making that happen.
One of the things about cars is the reach they have, right? I mean, they touch so many other fields in this country. You know, if you think about it more, it may be is it our most important industry?
Oh, absolutely. It's the locomotive for the economy. It certainly has been in this recovery. Autos got started first, and they're carrying the expansion. And obviously, there's a tremendous trickle down to the auto economy.
It's very competitive. Does it take a lot out of you to run a company?
Well, I mean, it gets in your blood. You don't know that it's maybe taking it out of you. I mean, it's a fun kind of business, and it requires 7 days a week to be in it.
The fun is because it's like toys, right? These are large, wonderful toys that we love.
Yes, they're terrific. I mean, to drive these vehicles, you'll have to come to our proving grounds one of these days and have a shot at it.
That will be fun. Can I get to drive one?
Absolutely.
Can I do anything I want with the car in the proving grounds?
Keep it on the road.
Or I go with it, right? We're going to take a break, come back, and go back to our assembled panels in California and in Virginia, and questions from the audience and callers as well. For Jack Smith, President and CEO of General Motors at the International Auto Show in Detroit. This is Larry King. We'll be right back.
These are daytime running lamps. When you're on a two-lane highway like this in very bright sunlight, it helps you see a car or truck. Headlights at night help you see other things, but this lets people see you anytime. If I step back into the shadow, I disappear without these lights. But with these lights on, I'm a car. And right now, General Motors is the only domestic car producer that is going to have these daytime running lights, and we're doing them just because we think it's the right thing to do. We're just going to do it. Actually, done it.
On Election Day, America sent a clear message. You chose Republicans who pledged to change the way Congress does business. And on their first day in Washington, the new Republican majorities kept that promise. It's the first step toward smaller government, lower taxes, and more freedom. Join the fight. Help us win the next battle and pass the Balanced Budget Amendment. because we're doing what we promised.
What is thy bidding, my master?
There is a great disturbance in the Force. Get his battery.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Still going. Long-lasting Energizer batteries keep going and going.
There's magic and a touch of madness in the spring collection of Jean-Paul Gaultier, putting the hocus pocus on fashion of late and unveiling a style for the 90s on Style with Elsa Clench, 10:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. Eastern on CNN.
I'm Bobby Batista at CNN Center in Atlanta. Coming up on World News, she may be down, but don't count her out. 1 year ago today, Tanya Harding took out Nancy Kerrigan, but the skater's hoping for a comeback that may rival George Foreman's. Plus, talk radio. A look at who's talking, who's listening, and whether we talk too much, as Bruce Morton continues his look at the media circus. Join us for World News. Larry King returns in a moment.
Wasn't the only reason. With next day delivery, we can place our order by phone right from the catalog.
It's not a question of loyalty. It's just good business.
Taking care of business.
When they want low prices on Office products, they just call Office Depot and get next day delivery.
What's Detroit wheeling out for 95? We'll put you in the driver's seat to check out this year's hottest new models and concept cars. Take a test drive along Route 95. Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on CNN.
We're back, and let's go to our people across the United States, back out to Santa Clarita, California, with a potential car buyer. The young lady, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Laura, and I have a question. My question is, why is it that foreign cars are more reliable than American-made cars?
Are they still, would you say, more reliable, Jack, or would you deny that?
No, it's changed. Today, the domestic-produced cars have matched the level of the average of the Japanese cars in reliability.
You'd say they're both very safe, reliable cars.
So we've caught up.
The problem you had with your truck and the government, and you settled, and you make commitments to safety. Did you make errors along the way there? Because I know you've done so much to pull this company together.
We had a very safe truck there, and
that was a bad rap?
It's a very bad rap. We met all the standards, and that truck is a very, very safe product in the marketplace.
And why did you give $31 million to safety?
Well, all of the rhubarb and so forth, it was better to do that and to move on and to keep all of the discussion going.
Not a bad way to settle. 31 million. Yeah, but in other words, there's no doubt in your mind that is a safe car.
Absolutely.
Let's go to Arlington, Virginia with Jack Smith. Hello.
Hello. I only purchase American cars. I am convinced that their quality is terrific and it's a terrific value. Why haven't you been able to convince the American public to purchase American cars?
Was the last part?
Why haven't you been able to better convince the public that he thinks American cars are a better value?
Well, they are a better value, and we're working very hard to convince everyone of that.
The dip you took a while back, you deserve, though, right?
We had some catch-up. There's no way to say we didn't. The Japanese set a standard that we had to catch up with. We've caught up with. We've got value in the marketplace today, and I think Americans are shopping for domestic vehicles today. And if anything, I would say the industry was capacity constrained in 1995.
The graph's still going up then?
Yes.
The gentleman here.
The auto industry has become a global marketplace, and clearly the winners of the future are going to be the ones that enter the growing markets. What are GM's plans to enter China, probably one of the largest coming sales markets?
Well, we agree with you. China is one of the, without question, probably going to be the largest new market in the world and could rival the size of the U.S. market over the next 15 to 20 years, surprisingly.
Wow.
It could. I mean, a lot of things could go wrong, but if things go right, that market is going to be massive. All auto manufacturers are trying to participate in the China market.
How will GM do there?
Well, it's too early to tell. Everybody's scrambling to get a position. We have a number of programs under active effort to get rolling. We're in the truck business there. We have a significant number of joint ventures and components, but more importantly, there's a couple of major programs that we hope that we'll be the winners of going forward. That's not to say we don't have some competition, but we want to play in the China market.
We'll be open all night here in downtown Beijing. You come bring your car, I'll give you top price for it. It's coming. Yeah. Let's go to Hennick, California. Hello.
Hi, I'm calling. First thing I wanted to let you know is that I think a Ford's a 10 times better truck than a Chevy, but besides that, my question was, how come concept cars take so long to get on the market? We see things with a lot of spoilers and nice-looking rims and a real nice-looking car, but, 10 years down the line, when they finally do show up on the market, all the spoilers are gone, it's watered down, and I'm just curious about that. Thanks.
It's a good question. Why don't we see the concept cars come to fruition as they are?
Well, some of what they do in the concept cars are very difficult to manufacture. So
you mean they're PR?
No, they're not PR, but they're the shape of a future. They're the designer's dream. But the reality is you've got to be able to manufacture that car day in, day out.
In other words, he should understand this is a concept.
It's a concept.
Not a car.
It's the way the designer sees it and the way he would like that car to be expressed. It's not always possible to do exactly that as you go to manufacture the car.
What's your forecast for 95?
Well, we're a little bit lower than our domestic competitors. We're around 15.6 million units. It's a little early to tell where the market's going to run. It could run somewhat higher than that.
What do you base it on? I mean, like, why do you think you're a little below their estimates? What's your trend? You look at last year?
Yeah, we tend to look at trends and look at basic economy and look at where we've been this year and where we're going. But it's really hard to call the shot exactly. It could run higher than 15.
What's going to be your hot car of the year?
Well, trucks are sold out. The Lumina, the Cavalier, they're all new. They're running strong in the marketplace. It's hard to pick one. The Aurora is very strong. We got a bunch of new product and it's doing very well.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Great having you with us.
Nice to be here.
We also want to thank the folks at Pontiac because they gave up their part of this whole setup here at the International Auto Show for us to do this show. Tomorrow, Pontiacs will be here when it opens to the public tomorrow morning. I want to thank the CEOs of Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors for being with us. Tomorrow night on Larry King Weekend, Carl Reiner, Mel Brooks, and Sid Caesar. Monday night, I'll be wearing my car suspenders back in Washington, and the guests will be the congressional correspondents for all the major networks, including, of course, ours. Thanks for joining us from the International Auto Show in Detroit. Drive carefully. Have a great weekend. Good night.